Imagine that you have a valid federal cause of action. You sue in federal court, and the case gets underway. But before your case can be adjudicated, Congress passes legislation invalidating your claim and depriving the court of jurisdiction over it. Can Congress get away with that? A group of plaintiffs faced just such a predicament in the 1948 case of Battaglia versus General Motors Corporation. In 1946, the United States Supreme Court decided Anderson versus Mount Clemens Pottery Company. Anderson held that, under the Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938, employees were generally entitled to minimum wage and overtime compensation for so-called portal-to-portal activities. These activities embraced time spent on the employer's premises engaging in tasks related to the employee's main duties, such as walking to and from workstations, obtaining tools and equipment, and receiving orders. Anderson produced thousands of lawsuits seeking billions of dollars. Among these lawsuits was one by Joseph Battaglia and other employees against General Motors, seeking overtime compensation for portal-to-portal activities. Battaglia filed suit in federal district court in 1947 when Anderson was still good law. While these lawsuits were pending, Congress passed the Portal-to-Portal Act of 1947. This legislation insulated employers from liability for failure to compensate for portal-to-portal activities unless the compensation was provided for in an applicable express contractual provision, custom, or practice. Additionally, this legislation deprived the federal and state courts of jurisdiction over most portal-to-portal claims, regardless of whether the claims were brought before or after Congress enacted the Portal-to-Portal Act. Considering the Portal-to-Portal Act, General Motors sought to dismiss the case for lack of jurisdiction and failure to state a claim. The employees didn't initially allege any express contractual provision, custom, or practice entitling them to compensation for portal-to-portal activities, and they never amended the complaints to incorporate any such allegations. Instead, the employees challenged the Act's constitutionality, asserting that it violated their due process rights by depriving them of a vested, implicit contractual entitlement founded in the Fair Labor Standards Act. The district court found for General Motors and dismissed the case. The employees appealed to the Second Circuit.